I was an S-Rank Talisman Master, but the entire school called me trash. So I spent 3 full days preparing 100,000 explosion talismans, all to erase a boss no one else dared to touch. Everyone laughed and said I was walking straight into death. Even my girlfriend, newly awakened as an SS-Rank Ice Mage, dumped me on the spot. Then she turned and ran into the Long family young master's arms. But none of them knew the truth. My talismans cost 0 mana. They need no wind-up. With one thought, 10,000 talismans detonate at once. At the bottom of the Deadwood Lock deep well, after burying the 100,000th explosion talisman, I said only one word: explode. Boom! A mushroom cloud tore into the sky. I shot from level 0 to level 10 in a single blast, and the woman who once trampled on me was standing at the auction house with her new man, waiting to pick through the scraps from the gear I sold. On stage, the mustachioed director was speaking with stern righteousness. After awakening your profession, you will become transcendence. You must protect the borders and bring peace to the people, and help the weak against the strong. I wish you all the best in awakening your desired profession, and I hope that your generation will be the ones to reclaim humanity's lost lands. But the students below clearly didn't take it to heart. Generation after generation, for how many years now?
Humans awaken professions.
Becoming transcendence. But those monsters are growing stronger too. Reclaiming the lost lands is definitely a pipe dream. As for protecting the borders and helping the weak, people are capable of doing it, but few are actually willing. Otherwise, the slums wouldn't exist in this world. Yuan was one of those from the slums. He was also one of the students waiting to awaken his profession today. As a resident of the slums, Yuan pinned his hopes on himself, awakening a powerful profession to change his fate. Although he was a transmigrator, in this world, beyond the high walls, lies the territory of monsters. There are also various secret realms and dungeons. Without transcendent power, you can do nothing. Soon, the director had the teacher call the roll. Students walked onto the stage one by one toward the awakening device. It looked like a 3-meter giant egg, crystal clear, overflowing with flowing light. Mysterious runes circulated within it. Those who had turned 18 entered it to awaken their profession. Gaoyu, Berserker, Wang Yan, A-rank, Archer. Next, at first it was mostly B-ranks and A-rank professions, which didn't cause much of a stir. But, after dozens of people, Lu Shuangshuang, Ice Mage. What? SS-Rank. This is the first time our school has awakened an SS-Rank profession, right? Who would have thought Lu Shuangshuang was not only beautiful, but could also awaken an SS-Rank profession? Is she the darling of the heavens? An SS-Rank profession is great, but she's an Ice Mage. For this profession to grow, it requires immense financial resources. If I remember correctly, Lu Shuangshuang is from the slums, right? Since she's so talented, rich people will naturally support her. Supported by the rich, huh? When the rich support you, what do you think they'll want in return? Keep it down. Don't you see Yuan up ahead? Yuan is her boyfriend. Although the voices were low, Yuan still heard them. Yes, Lu Shuangshuang, who had just awakened as an SS-Rank Ice Mage, was his girlfriend. She was essentially his childhood sweetheart from the slums. The two of them had a pact. Whoever awakened the stronger profession would take care of the other. And now, she has awakened an SS-Rank profession. Did he even have a chance to be stronger than her? Yuan didn't know. He swore to himself in secret, no matter what profession he awakened, he would strive to be strong on his own. Yuan glanced at Lu Shuangshuang from afar. After she returned to her class, she dealt with the flattery of her classmates. He picked up his phone and started messaging. Probably messaging his parents to share the good news. Yuan didn't mind. He continued waiting. About an hour passed. It was his turn. Yuan stepped into the awakening machine. He felt a strange energy enveloping him. Before his eyes, countless runes seemed to fly past. Runes. Throughout their years of study, they naturally knew about the various professions. Based on what he saw, he must be a talisman master. As expected, just as he suspected, a surge of information flooded his mind. Awakening successful. S-Rank Talisman Master. Initial talisman. Explosive talisman. After the information arrived, Yuan's awakening ended. The teacher's voice carried a hint of disappointment. Yuan, S-Rank Talisman Master. Talisman Masters are the disgrace of all S-Rank professions, because other S-Rank professions can learn skills later on. By slaying monsters, there's a chance skill books will drop. But for Talisman Masters, aside from the initial talisman, there's nothing else. Up until now, no one has ever seen a talisman drop from a monster. Thus, Talisman Masters simply cannot learn more. Other professions, after class advancement, can gain a new skill, but for Talisman Masters, even if you persevere and reach level 730, at the time of advancement, you can only continue to level up. There are no new skills. Why is this the case? No one knows. But everyone knows that if you awaken as a Talisman Master, it's better to have just awakened a C-rank profession. Yuan stepped out of the machine. Before he could feel disappointed, just as he stepped out, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Congratulations, host. On awakening as a Talisman Master. Profession system successfully activated. Detected incomplete Talisman Master profession. Now completing the profession. Talisman Master promoted to EX rank. Passive Talent 1. Limitless Talisman Casting.
0 mana consumption.
Passive Talent 2. Every 5 levels gained, obtain a new type of talisman. This series of prompts let Lu Yuan know that he wasn't hallucinating. He had actually activated a system. His perk as a transmigrator had finally arrived. The system evolved his rank from S to EX. Plus these 2 broken talents. Lu Yuan knew that, in the future, the path he would take would be a road of invincibility. Just as he was about to ask Lu Shuangshuang to go home and plan his monster hunting strategy, Lu Shuangshuang walked toward him on her own. Lu Yuan clearly saw that Lu Shuangshuang looked uneasy. Lu Yuan's heart sank. Something is wrong. Lu Shuangshuang stood before him. She hesitated for half a minute. Finally, as if making a momentous decision, let's break up. Her voice wasn't loud, but everyone around them heard it. They all looked over. With so many eyes on her, Lu Shuangshuang felt a wave of shame. Her fair face instantly flushed red, but she didn't back down. She needed support. She needed a lot of money to fund her leveling. Staying with Lu Yuan, relying on his Talisman Master profession, could he make enough money for her to level up? Could he fund her growth? By equipment? By skill books? Not enough. She was thinking frantically, trying to find the right words, so she wouldn't seem immoral. Lu Yuan's answer was completely unexpected. Fine. Just one word. Calm and indifferent, as if he were talking about something trivial. It even made her feel angry. What does he mean? Was their childhood bond of all these years really that worthless? Or maybe, is she really that unattractive? You, what are you talking about? She refused to believe it, so she asked once more. You want to break up? I'll grant your wish. Is there a problem? Lu Yuan looked at her indifferently. Lu Yuan never expected that such a cliché plot would happen to him. But since she chose this path, he would simply let her go. Even if he had no system, and was just a waste, he would still agree. Someone like her isn't worth it. An unkillable boss. All the excuses Lu Shuangshuang had prepared were now useless. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, I hope you don't blame me. We no longer belong to the same world. Forcing it will only make us both miserable. Blame you? No, just as you said. We truly belong to different worlds. Lu Yuan nodded and turned to leave. Right then, a student in a sharp suit walked over. He looked arrogant. He looked proud. He looked arrogant. Blocking Lu Yuan's path, he said smugly, Lu Yuan, I told you from the start, what's the use of being good at studying? By the time of graduation, people will make their own choices. Oh right, for Shuangshuang's sake, if you're willing, my family is looking for a gatekeeper. Lu Yuan knew this man. His name was Long Haochen, the young master of the Long family in Juqing. He had pursued Lu Shuangshuang many times before, but Lu Shuangshuang had strictly rejected him then. However, now likely for the money, she finally chose to accept. Back then, she might have held a sliver of hope for Lu Yuan, because in school, he was always ranked first. Maybe he could awaken a powerful class, and then he could turn his life around. Compared to Long Haochen, Lu Yuan was also more handsome. If he had the potential, any smart woman would choose him. When Lu Shuangshuang awakened her class, Long Haochen sent her a message. Knowing that her class was extremely expensive to maintain, she still didn't accept Long Haochen. Instead, she waited, because she believed that Lu Yuan loved her deeply. As long as he awakened a decent class, he would surely work hard to provide for her. But she finally saw the class Lu Yuan awakened. S-Rank Talisman Master. It certainly matched his academic record. Unfortunately, it was a Talisman Master, the most trashy class of all. The moment she saw Lu Yuan's class, she no longer hesitated and accepted Long Haochen. Facing Long Haochen's insults, Lu Shuangshuang walked to his side and whispered, Haochen, let's go. As she spoke, she pulled Long Haochen away, without looking back at Lu Yuan. Pathetic. What a waste of an awakening. Why did it have to be a Talisman Master? I can't even blame Lu Shuangshuang. If it were me, I would also choose Long Haochen. If you ask me, what Lu Shuangshuang shouldn't have done was agreeing to be Lu Yuan's girlfriend in the first place. Keep it down. Do you want to die? Lu Shuangshuang is an SS-Rank Ice Mage now, and you dare gossip about her behind her back? The gossip of these people. Lu Yuan didn't care. They were all just passers-by. Lu Yuan returned to his home in the slums. The walls of the house were cracking. This small house was the only inheritance left by his parents. His mother, due to poor health and living in the slums, without proper medical care, passed away when Lu Yuan was 5. As for his father, when he was 12, he went out to hunt a boss with Lu Shuangshuang's father, and ended up dying. Once again, Lu Shuangshuang's father was also severely injured, and spent a long time recovering. Since then, he didn't dare go hunting again. He just found a cheap manual labor job in the city. Lu Yuan survived until now, thanks to the Federation's policies. Before children turn 18, schooling is free, and living expenses are provided. But once they reach 18, you must fend for yourself. After all, after 18, you You awaken your profession. The Federation can no longer support you. Lu Yuan returned home, leaning back on a worn-out sofa. He began planning for tomorrow, right? A place to level up. Perhaps that location is the most suitable. Lu Yuan suddenly remembered when Uncle Lu returned. The one he mentioned, the dungeon where they once hunted a boss. Deadwood Town, a level 30 dungeon. There are no mobs in Deadwood Town. There is only one boss there, residing in a deep well within the Deadwood Lock. The boss won't attack people proactively, but once you attack it, it will emerge from the deep well and begin its hunt. The boss's strength is terrifying, unrivaled below level 30. A group of level 30 transcendents went to hunt it, but they were defeated. Those above level 30, who successfully changed classes, cannot enter the dungeon. Therefore, that boss remains undefeated to this day. A boss that gives me time to prepare. If I don't kill it, it would be a waste. Moreover, it's time to settle the score for my father. Lu Yuan said, clenching his fist. His current talismans.
Explosion Talisman.
Detonation requires his command. In other words, as long as he doesn't trigger them, he can prepare thousands, tens of thousands. For a boss below the first advancement, 100,000 explosion talismans are enough to blast it into oblivion. Of course, explosion talismans cannot be stored forever. They have a time limit, a limit of 6 hours. The same goes for other talismans. If not for this restriction, talisman masters wouldn't be inferior to some C-rank professions. For other talisman masters, 6 hours isn't enough to create many talismans, because drawing an explosion talisman requires slowly drawing it in the air, then consuming mana to condense the talisman. But for him, he only needs a single thought, and the explosion talisman appears. In a matter of seconds, Lu Yuan can generate 10 of them. After a restful night's sleep, the next day, Lu Yuan headed to the south of Zhuqing City. He arrived at the city gate. The guard on duty asked, "Young man, where are you headed?" "There are several paths from the city gate. The safe paths lead to various dungeons. Near the dungeons, there are no monsters. Dungeons are the best places for people to level up, because monsters in dungeons follow certain patterns. Many dungeons have guides left by predecessors. By following the guides, with good coordination, it's possible to take no damage. The unsafe paths lead to the wilderness. The patterns of wild monsters are unknown. Therefore, usually those below the first advancement, transcendents are not allowed to face wild monsters. Even for those who have advanced once, it's recommended to go in groups, to look out for one another." Lu Yuan is so young. He could tell at a glance he was a novice going to level up. He knew it was graduation season. Many freshmen have been going to dungeons to level up lately. "To dungeon number 3, Lu Yuan said. "Dungeon number 3? All right." The guard quickly opened the gate for Lu Yuan. After the gate opened, there was a bus heading straight there. There were already 5 or 6 people on the bus. A few of them seemed to know Lu Yuan. When they saw Lu Yuan board, their surprised expressions seemed to be thinking that Lu Yuan actually dared to level up alone. However, these people didn't say a word. Regardless of what they thought, he only thought it in his heart. Lu Yuan found a seat and sat down, waiting for another few minutes. 2 more people boarded. By now, the bus had waited for half an hour and departed on time. Half an hour later, he arrived at dungeon number 3. This wasn't just a single dungeon. There were multiple dungeons to choose from. However, there was one dungeon entrance that was completely deserted. That dungeon was the Deadwood Town dungeon Lu Yuan intended to enter. Slay the boss. A great harvest. Just as Lu Yuan prepared to walk toward the Deadwood Town dungeon, he saw 2 familiar faces walking toward him. Long Haochen and Lu Shuangshuang, followed by a middle-aged man. It seemed this man was helping them level up. "Lu Yuan, I didn't expect you dare come here to level up alone. I bet before you even finish drawing your talismans, the monsters will have eaten you alive. Are you really that desperate?" Long Haochen sneered. Long Haochen mocked. "Brother Lu, you should just go back. No one wants to team up with you. It's too dangerous for you alone." Lu Shuangshuang spoke in the tone of a sweet girl next door. Lu Yuan was almost impressed by her. They just broke up yesterday, and today she could act like this. It seems she had handled the psychological transition quite well. "Just mind your own business." Lu Yuan didn't give them any courtesy. They only came to find him, to show off, trying to elevate themselves by stepping on him. People like that don't deserve any kindness. "Lu Yuan, in front of me, stop acting so superior. If you really have the skill, let's see right now, who can achieve a class change first. Do you dare?" Long Haochen said angrily. Every time he tried to provoke him, Lu Yuan remained completely indifferent. This made him feel he had lost face. He had to drag Lu Yuan into the game. Only then could he crush Lu Yuan completely. "Who class changes first? What's the bet?" Lu Yuan asked. "If you win, I'll give you 1,000,000. If you lose, it's simple. Just kowtow to me." "Well, quite a fair deal, isn't it?" Long Haochen chuckled. "1,000,000. 1,000,000 is nothing to me. How about this? 1 month from now is when the school reunion takes place. At that time, whoever loses will, in front of all students and teachers, kowtow to the other. Do you dare to bet?" Even a clay statue has some temper. Since Long Haochen was so eager to provoke him, Lu Yuan couldn't keep ignoring him. Only by teaching him a lesson would he learn to behave. At that moment, Lu Shuangshuang said, "Brother Lu, in just 1 month, how could anyone possibly succeed in a class change?" Her words instantly reminded Long Haochen. A professional's first class change is at level 30, the second at 50, and the third at 100. In his view, in 1 month, it was absolutely impossible to reach level 30. He sneered. "You really are sinister. Or should I say obvious? Are you planning to say neither of us succeeded, and then just call off the bet? If you want to bet in a month, fine. Then let's see who has the higher level." Fine. Lu Yuan didn't hesitate and agreed immediately. At the same time, he couldn't help but cast a cold glance at Lu Shuangshuang. He felt somewhat relieved now, relieved that he had broken up with this woman. What a vicious person. The comment she just added was essentially wishing for Lu Yuan's failure. After all, in her eyes, it was impossible for Lu Yuan to outpace Long Haochen. Then, "I'll see you in a month. I hope you don't act like a coward then." Long Haochen finished speaking. He took Lu Shuangshuang to a leveling dungeon. After watching them walk away, Lu Yuan gave a contemptuous smile, and then walked alone toward the Deadwood Lock. In front of Deadwood Town, before the Deadwood Lock, there was no queue, so Lu Yuan approached the dungeon, and after reading the data, he could enter directly. Deadwood Town, recommended level 30. There were 3 options here.
Lu Yuan cose solo.
The next moment, a divine light shone upon him, and his vision went dark. Lu Yuan found himself in a silent little town. The place was completely empty. Forget about people or livestock. Not even the sound of insects could be heard. Just then, his system suddenly chimed. High danger creature detected nearby. Slay it to receive a reward.
Celestial Master Jade pendant.
A triggered quest. Ooh, interesting. Killing a boss this way would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Lu Yuan walked into the town with anticipation. He soon found that dry well. Looking down from here, it was silent, a silence that was terrifying. Lu Yuan gazed at the dry well, a slight flicker of thought, and he pointed his finger. Talismans flew from his fingertips. Swoosh, 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 flying out, falling into the dry well. It was a tedious process, but Lu Yuan dared not be careless. Facing this boss, he had to be extremely cautious. The well was so deep that Lu Yuan spent 5 hours and still couldn't see the talismans he had created. However, the explosive talismans made over 5 hours, Lu Yuan was certain, definitely exceeded 100,000. Lu Yuan wasn't in a hurry to detonate them here. He first walked toward the outskirts of the village. Although the explosion of his talismans wouldn't harm him, he worried about unforeseen variables. If the boss in this dungeon didn't die, then he would be the one to die. Even if the chance was 1 in a billion, he had to remain extremely cautious, because right now he was just a glass cannon. He reached the edge of the village, and could see the dungeon entrance not far behind. Once he detonated them, if the boss didn't die, he planned to leave without looking back. Exiting the dungeon immediately, Lu Yuan formed a hand seal, chanting in his mind, "Word becomes law." Boom! A deafening roar erupted from Deadwood Town. Lu Yuan saw a mushroom cloud rise into the sky. Then, a voice echoed in his mind. However, this voice was like a gentle woman's, unlike the mechanical tone of the system. Successfully slain level 30 Deadwood Town boss, Poison Python, gained 6,000 experience points. Congratulations on reaching level 10. Congratulations on reaching level 1. Congratulations on reaching level 2. 6,000 experience points sent Lu Yuan's level skyrocketing to 10. For a normal person to reach level 10, even with someone power leveling them, it would still take 2 or 3 days. It's not that simple. First kill of the Poison Python. Loot dropped. Flood Dragon Staff, Fire-Resistant Robe, Flood Dragon Sword, Flood Dragon Scale Armor. After these notifications, these items automatically appeared in Lu Yuan's inventory. The inventory had also appeared. During his class awakening, it automatically collects items dropped by slain monsters, with infinite slots, but it can only store monster drops, cannot hold other items. After these notifications, Lu Yuan received a system alert. Quest completed. Reward obtained. Celestial Master Jade Pendant.
Celestial Master Jade pendant.
Exclusive to Talisman Masters. Can hide the user's level. An aura. Boosts the power of all talismans by 200%. Level increased by 10. Acquired 2 types of talismans. Haste Talisman. Cast on the legs. Speed increases by 500%. Duration. 10 minutes. Chihuang Talisman heals a single target for 50% of their total health and removes debuffs simultaneously. Suddenly, 3 more talismans appeared. Lu Yuan scanned through the effects of these talismans and removes debuffs simultaneously. Suddenly, 3 more talismans appeared. Lu Yuan scanned through the effects of these talismans. He couldn't help but sigh. S-Rank Talisman Masters are so weak. What does that have to do with an EX rank like me? With a flicker of his mind, Lu Yuan checked his personal attributes. Lu Yuan. Age 18. Health/class defense. Class, S-Rank Talisman Master. Level 10. Experience, 500, 1000, 2000, 100, 100. Magic, 500.
Mana,
1000. Talismans, Explosive Talisman, Haste Talisman, 4 pieces of epic equipment. Although the 2 talismans obtained this time are both support type, their utility is still immense. The Haste Talisman allows him to avoid being hounded by fast-moving monsters, and can be used to create distance. The Qihong Talisman allows for self-healing when injured. A single talisman can restore half of his health. Its efficacy is naturally formidable. With the Explosive Talisman for offense, he doesn't urgently need offensive talismans. First, Lu Yuan took the
Celestial Master Jade pendant.
Bound it and wore it. The pendant instantly concealed his aura, even for players far stronger than him. Looking at him now, he would appear as nothing more than a level 0 ordinary person. He then examined the equipment obtained this time. Flood Dragon Staff, level 30, class, Mage, quality, epic. Mana cost, 100 effect. Magic, 200.
Mana, 1000. Magic skill bonus, 50%.
Flood Dragon Staff, plus 30% damage to non-boss monsters. Active skill, Flood Dragon Ice Flame, S-Rank skill, summons a Flood Dragon Phantom to deal massive damage. Massive area damage. Breathes Flood Dragon Ice Flame, dealing wide area damage. Mana cost, 1000. Fire Resistant Robe, level 30, class, Mage. Warlock, quality, epic, effect, defense 100, fire resistance, 50%, epic, effect, defense 100, fire resistance, 50%. Active skill, Fire Avoidance Shield, creates a protective barrier around the user. Fire immunity for 5 minutes. Flood Dragon Sword, level 30, class, Warrior. Epic, effect, strength, 500. Strength/agility skill bonus, 50%. Flood Dragon Sword, plus 30% damage to non-boss monsters. Active skill, none. Damage Reflection Flood Dragon Scale Armor, reflects 5% damage when attacked. Class, Berserker, epic. Effect, defense 300, HP 1000, active skill, damage reflection. Upon taking damage, reflects 5 points of damage, 4 pieces of epic equipment. Unfortunately, Lu Yuan could only wear one, the fire-resistant robe. Its effect isn't that strong. Compared to the other pieces, the stats are far too low. However, its active skill is absolutely broken. Flame Ward, fire immunity for 5 minutes. In other words, within these 5 minutes, he is invincible against fire. In certain situations, this will definitely be a game changer. As for the other 3 pieces, though they are powerful, he has no use for them. Only after returning to town did he sell them off. Lu Yuan believed they would definitely fetch a high price. Epic grade equipment, even if it's only level 30, its value starts at millions, because under normal circumstances, killing a level 30 boss only drops 1 epic item at most. Lu Yuan got 4 this time, because he secured the first kill. First kills come with a drop rate bonus, and these items have no wear requirements. As long as your class matches the requirements, you can wear them, because this is pre-advancement gear. If it were level 30 or higher, could only be worn after advancement. Lu Yuan put on the fire-resistant robe. He discovered the robe transformed into a modern jacket with a quite casual style. The robe transformed into a modern jacket with a quite casual style. Moreover, after putting it on, Lu Yuan could feel that as long as he wanted, he could change its appearance. Of course, can only be used once a day. The boss here is dealt with. Time to find a new place to grind. Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he walked out of the dungeon. When he stepped outside, people immediately looked his way, because when he entered, quite a few people had noticed him. Though they didn't know him, they could see his class level. Level 0, someone who just awakened their class, actually dared to enter Withered Wood alone. Anyone would be curious. Some had already lost patience and left. After several hours, they assumed Lu Yuan had probably died inside. But a few remained. Seeing Lu Yuan emerge now, they naturally shifted their attention to him. However, seeing that he was still level 0, some couldn't help but smirk. What a joke. He was just posing after all. They assumed Lu Yuan was just putting on a show, staying inside for a few hours, and then coming out. Though they didn't understand the point of it, it didn't stop them from mocking him inwardly. Lu Yuan ignored them. Instead, he looked for the dungeon with the shortest queue. He checked the time. It was already 2 a.m. No need to go to other dungeons. He headed toward the shortest line. Most people queuing here were level 10 plus, or even level 20 plus. As Lu Yuan joined the queue, a man in his 20s spoke up. "Young man, you're alone?"
Yeah.
Lu Yuan nodded. "Young man, you just awakened your class, right? You'd better find some carries. Otherwise, go to a dungeon for under level 10 for safety." The man reminded him kindly. "Thanks for the kindness. I'm just here to see the sights." Lu Yuan replied. This left the man speechless. Entering a dungeon just to see the sights? He's literally gambling with his life. But as a stranger, he couldn't say much more. People must pay the price for their choices. After waiting in line for over 10 minutes, Lu Yuan saw the 4 people ahead enter the dungeon together. It didn't take much to realize that they had chosen to team up. As Lu Yuan approached, he spotted the dungeon's information. Evernight Plains, recommended, level 10. Entry limit, level 20. Duo mode. Naturally, without a moment's hesitation,
Le Yuan chose solo mode.
then, a halo of light enveloped him, teleporting him to a vast plain. It happened to be nighttime inside. A full moon shone brightly in the sky. Walking across this grassland wasn't difficult. However, upon entering, Lu Yuan discovered that other awakened were also present. This is the difference between regular dungeons and Deadwood Towns. Exclusive boss dungeons. Once someone enters, everyone else must wait outside. Only when they emerge, or perish, can others enter. But in common dungeons like this, everyone shares the same space. But once inside, you can no longer form teams. To hunt monsters and level up here, you must rely entirely on your own skill. Areas with low-level monsters are crowded with people. Areas with high-level monsters have fewer people, but offer more experience. But it's also far more dangerous. Lu Yuan scanned the endless plains and headed deeper inside because he realized the deeper he went, the higher the monster levels became. These monsters were primarily wolves, and since wolves hunt in packs, most people came here in teams to grind. Lu Yuan slapped a haste talisman on his feet, instantly transforming into a blurring gale, charging toward the depths. With a 500% speed boost, the nearby awakened could barely see what had just streaked past. When Lu Yuan reached the level 15 plus monster zone, he found it almost entirely deserted. The nearby awakened could barely see what had just streaked past. When Lu Yuan reached the level 15 plus monster zone, he found it almost entirely deserted. Lu Yuan watched the wolf pack wandering the plains, unaware of his presence. An explosion talisman appeared in his hand. Time for a slaughter. Lu Yuan began by launching a flurry of explosion talismans. Although he was only level 10, his EX rank status meant his growth rate far surpassed even SS-Rank classes. His level 10 attributes were significantly higher than average. Coupled with the bonus from the Celestial Master Jade Pendant, a single explosion talisman was enough to kill a level 15 monster. To be safe, Lu Yuan used 2 talismans per monster. Boom! Blast! As Lu Yuan whispered the command, explosions erupted one after another. As the wolf pack was blown to pieces, a constant stream of experience notifications flooded in. Slay level 15 brown wolf, gained 50 EXP. Slay level 16 gray wolf, gained 60 EXP. Slay level 15 red wolf, gained 50 EXP. Looking at the experience gained per kill, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh. As expected, leveling up by killing mobs is painfully slow. If others heard this, they would probably die of rage. After all, an average level 10 would only dare fight level 7 or 8 monsters. Facing monsters of similar strength, one is manageable, but a whole pack is practically a suicide mission. Those being carried by pros, led by top-tier players, can indeed kill monsters far stronger than themselves. But with a carry, the experience is split, meaning the gain is minimal. Lu Yuan continued his rampage. First, the wolf packs charged at him, but eventually the wolves seemed to realize the overwhelming gap in power. They no longer dared to attack. Instead, they turned and fled. Once they started running, for Lu Yuan, it became a problem, because chasing them down was far slower than letting them come to him. So Lu Yuan hunted them all the way. The small bits of experience slowly added up, and helped him level up as well. More importantly, the deeper he went, the stronger the wolf packs became. 2 hours later, Lu Yuan had reached level 12. In 2 hours, he had gained 2 levels. That alone was enough to make others jealous. However, when he looked around now, not a single wolf was in sight. He had no idea why these wolves were so timid. Forget it. Time to head back. Lu Yuan had no time left to search for them. After all, the trip here had taken 2 hours. To walk back to the dungeon exit would take about the same amount of time. He turned around and headed toward the exit. By the time he left the dungeon, it was already dusk. On the ride back, Lu Yuan checked his profession backpack. Aside from the 3 epic grade items he planned to keep and sell, there were also some common and fine grade items. Small monsters also had a chance to drop gear. Most of it was only common. Anything fine grade counted as good luck. Equipment dropped by monsters was divided into common, fine, advanced, premium, epic, legendary, and mythic. These common and fine grade items were useless to him. He could not be bothered to inspect them one by one. When he went to sell those epic items tomorrow, he would just bundle these together and sell them too. When Lu Yuan returned home, he found the Lu family next door moving out. Lu Shuangshuang was not there. Only her parents and the movers were present. When Uncle Lu saw Lu Yuan, he walked toward him. Just as Lu Yuan was about to enter his home, Uncle Lu quickly called out, "Wait, I want to talk to you." Lu Yuan hesitated slightly, but eventually stopped. He turned around, smiling as he always did, and asked, "Uncle Lu, what is it?" "Xiao Yuan, about Shuangshuang. Our Lu family wronged you. I am here to apologize to you." Uncle Lu bowed solemnly to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan reached out and helped him up, then said, "There is no right or wrong here. Everyone has their own path to walk. I respect her choice. Xiao Yuan, you are a kind child. I believe you will find someone better one day, Uncle Lu said. Then I will gladly accept your blessing, Uncle Lu. Lu Yuan replied. I should get back to work. After saying that, Uncle Lu turned and left. With Long Haochen's help, they were probably moving to the wealthy district. As for them, Lu Yuan bore no resentment, even toward Lu Shuangshuang. As long as she did not flaunt herself in front of him, Lu Yuan would not care. But if she insisted on seeking attention before him, then she could not blame him. Uncle Lu was a level 30 professional. Because his strength was lacking, and he had no money, he could not complete his advancement quest, so he could only remain in the slums. Lu Yuan knew exactly what life here was like. If they had a choice, who would willingly stay here? He ate a simple meal, took a shower, then lay down to rest. The next day, Lu Yuan headed to Zhuqing's Professional Plaza. Professional Plaza. The shops here deal in profession-related items. The equipment auction houses are also located here. Whether it's the architecture or the streets, everything is sheer luxury, a world completely apart from the slums. Lu Yuan, dressed in cheap clothes worth a few pennies, walked here, looking utterly out of place. But Lu Yuan didn't care. In this world, strength is the only real confidence a person can have. With strength, you can obtain everything you need. He strode forward, entering the Chamber of Commerce with the largest auction house. The Tianxing Chamber of Commerce. Lu Yuan entered, and walked toward the clerk at the counter. The clerk glanced at Lu Yuan, and asked with a professional smile, Sir, are you looking to buy equipment, or sell some? Lu Yuan replied, Very well. Please bring out the equipment, sir. The Tianxing Chamber of Commerce will offer you a satisfactory price. She spoke sincerely. For the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce to be the largest in the city, their service attitude naturally had to be the best. For the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce to be the largest in the city, their service attitude naturally had to be the best. The motto of the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce is, even if the customer is just an ordinary person, serving them sincerely for a few minutes results in no loss at all. But if a bad attitude offended a powerhouse hiding their true strength, then the loss would be far greater than the gain. With a wave of his hand, Lu Yuan laid all the equipment from his bag on the counter. 15 pieces of equipment in total. 3 of them shimmered with a dazzling purple light. The moment she saw that purple light, the clerk's beautiful eyes widened in shock. This is epic grade. Normally, the equipment she acquired was at best high grade. After all, she had just finished her training, and had been working here for less than 3 months. During her training, she had heard that a senior colleague, who acquired a single piece of epic equipment, received a bonus equal to half a year's salary. Before her were 3 pieces of epic equipment. She couldn't imagine how huge the bonus would be, but she knew one thing. She was about to hit the jackpot. Sir, please wait a moment. For epic equipment, we need an expert from the chamber to come and appraise it. Suppressing her excitement, she carefully explained to Lu Yuan. No problem. Lu Yuan nodded. The clerk picked up the desk phone and quickly made a call. After a brief explanation, about 5 minutes later, a man in his early 50s, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, arrived. Behind him, 2 bodyguards followed. Although Lu Yuan couldn't gauge their strength, he was certain that they had definitely undergone class advancement. Party invitation. As soon as the middle-aged man arrived, his attention was completely captivated by those 3 epic items. He walked over, staring at the equipment for a long time, before finally shifting his gaze to Lu Yuan. He asked, Did you bring this equipment? Yeah, Lu Yuan nodded. You didn't get these by killing monsters, did you? The elder scrutinized Lu Yuan. Level 12. He didn't believe a level 12 professional could kill a boss. Even the lowest professional killing a boss. Even the lowest level 10 boss. Moreover, although he had only glanced at the equipment from a distance, he could already sense that these were definitely not low-level items. The reason Lu Yuan revealed his level was that he didn't want his level 0 strength to bring him unnecessary trouble here. However, regarding the elder's words, Lu Yuan played along. He replied smoothly, A senior asked me to bring these here to sell. There will be more in the future. Lu Yuan certainly wouldn't admit he killed the monsters himself. It's fine if others don't believe him, but if they did, it would definitely lead to trouble. In this world, although there is the Federation, but the laws are lax, not to mention outside the city. Even inside the city, death is a common occurrence, creating a fake identity for himself to make it easier to sell equipment in the future. I see. It seems we can cooperate long-term. I am called Song Yi. May I ask your name? Young friend? The old man asked. Lu Yuan. Young friend Lu, please wait a moment. I will appraise the value of this equipment for you. Alright, I'll leave it to you, Elder Song. Song Yi stopped speaking and began carefully examining the gear. Gasp. Upon seeing the equipment, he took a deep breath. Level 30 epic gear. The value is immense. This is essentially graduation gear before the first advancement. These stats can even be used after the first advancement. Level 30 might not seem high, but in this world, 80% of transcendents are stuck at the level 30 hurdle because the advancement quest isn't that easy to complete. If you can't complete the advancement quest, no matter how many monsters you kill, you won't level up. Without this restriction, if humans could level up infinitely, they would have wiped out all the wild monsters long ago. An equipment appraiser actually calculates the benefits from various stats and estimates the value based on the strength of active skills. After a long while, Song Yi finished the appraisal. He looked at Lu Yuan. Song Yi finished the appraisal. He looked at Lu Yuan. He said solemnly, "These 3 pieces of equipment are all absolute top tier. Our Tianxing Merchant Guild can promote them for 3 days. 3 days from now, they will be the grand finale of the auction. Starting bid, 1 million. What do you think?" "I'm fine with that." Hearing the starting price, Lu Yuan naturally had no objections. This was the first time Lu Yuan felt that when you have absolute strength, how easy it is for money to come. If back then, his father and the others had teamed up to hunt that poisoned pit python, and if they had killed it, even if they only got 1 piece of gear, they could have moved out of the slums. The guild will take a 5% commission of the auction proceeds. "You have no objections, young friend?" Song Yi asked again. No, though Lu Yuan looked calm on the surface. He was actually quite surprised. 5%. Back when he was in school, he was clear about the handling fees for these auctions. They usually charge 10%, but he was only charging 5%. Lu Yuan could only think of one possibility. It's because the other party knows there will be further cooperation, so he's giving a special discount. "Shao-sun, get young friend Lu a VIP card to make it convenient for him to attend the auction in 3 days. Also, help him settle the payment for the other gear." Song Yi said, "Yes, Elder Song." The attendant obeyed respectfully. Song Yi then left with the 3 epic items. The attendant quickly settled the payment for the common and fine quality equipment. Their value was very low, totaling only 5,000 credits. She then processed the VIP card for Lu Yuan and handed it to him. After taking the VIP card, he noticed the serial number was 72. This meant, in this fortress city, the Tianxing Merchant Guild had only issued 72 VIP cards. Lu Yuan took the money and the card and left the place. He took a taxi straight to the city gate to continue grinding levels. This time he went to Dungeon Area 1, because over there was a place suited for him. He didn't run into any acquaintances on the way today. There was a place suited for him. He didn't run into any acquaintances on the way today. By the time he arrived at the dungeon area, it was already noon. Lu Yuan walked straight toward a spot where a large crowd was queuing for a dungeon. Back in school, he had learned about the locations and traits of these dungeons. This particular dungeon was for levels 10 to 20, and it contained a boss. However, the boss was random. Whether you encounter one depends on a bit of luck. Lu Yuan experienced it yesterday. The gap between a boss and ordinary monsters, the experience difference is truly massive. To level up quickly, hunting bosses is the best way. It's also because that one in Deadwood Town dungeon can only be cleared once per person. Those who have cleared it cannot run it again. Otherwise, Lu Yuan would definitely grind that dungeon every day. While Lu Yuan was queuing, someone soon came and lined up behind him. It was a girl. Judging by her age, she likely just graduated. Her level was 10. She looked frail and gentle, like a pampered canary kept in a cage. Sure enough, just as she approached, a man and a woman quickly followed her. Both of them were level 20, the perfect level to enter this dungeon. Lu Yuan understood immediately. Likely another rich young lady coming here to level up. After assessing the situation, Lu Yuan stopped caring about it. He continued to queue in silence. After waiting for a while, the person in front of him finally entered. Just as he was about to step forward, the person behind him called out to him, "Excuse me, student, are you alone?" She saw that their ages were similar and guessed he was also a recent graduate. "Is there a problem?" Lu Yuan turned around and asked. She shook her head repeatedly. "No problem. I just want to invite you to join my party. Would you be willing, student?" Lu Yuan couldn't help but glance at the two behind her and said, "Why?" Lu Yuan didn't believe there were any great philanthropists in this world, helping someone without even knowing if they needed it. "If you join us, entering as a party of 4 increases the probability of encountering a boss. We were originally a group of 4, but another person had an emergency and couldn't make it. You happen to be alone, and you're just the right fit. See if you want to come with us," she explained. "So that's the reason? However, aren't you going to ask what my class is?" Lu Yuan asked with interest. "They'll handle everything. You can just come in and get carried to victory," she said with a beaming smile. Her smile was like a sweet, soft little cake. Absolutely captivating. At that moment, one of them also said to Lu Yuan, the young lady is right. For people entering this dungeon, gives a 90% chance of encountering a boss. You should have learned this in school. Once you join the party, you don't even need to lift a finger. Experience will be split normally, but the boss drops belong to us. I can join. No. The leadership must be transferred to me. Lu Yuan said, the leader gets 50% of the experience. The rest split the remaining half. The reason Lu Yuan was willing to agree is because this dungeon's solo, duo entries, and party entries are settled independently. If the party kills the boss, he still has a chance in the solo or duo dungeon to find the boss and hunt it down. Hunt it down. Mist Mountain Dungeon. Little brother, aren't you being a bit too much? My lady took the initiative to invite you. Acting like this isn't right, is it? The man said in an unfriendly tone. Indeed, Lu Yuan's words seemed quite excessive. Others were being kind, but he was pushing his luck. However, Lu Yuan wasn't in a hurry and said directly, me being the leader isn't entirely a bad thing. After we clear this place, I can take her to the duo dungeon to hunt monsters. How about it? Do we have a deal? You take the young lady to the duo dungeon to hunt? Little brother, you're only level 12. Do you think this dungeon is some kind of joke? The man laughed in frustration. He felt like today was just a cursed day. Wang Hu, listen to him, the girl said seriously. The man named Wang Hu was stunned. Is this some kind of joke? He felt like today was just a cursed day. Wang Hu, listen to him, the girl said seriously. The man named Wang Hu was stunned. What kind of joke is this? The girl wasn't in a hurry. She continued to explain. I can transfer the captaincy to you, but once you enter the dungeon, you must show your skills. Prove that you can lead me to that dungeon. If you fail to prove it, the advantage you took today, it will be very easy for my Xie family to take it back. No problem. Lu Yuan readily agreed. At the same time, he couldn't help but wonder. The Xie family, could it be the founder of the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce? Lu Yuan remembered his name was Xie Tianxing. Lu Yuan couldn't help but look back. He noticed that not far away, a gaze seemed to be staring at them. This gaze made Lu Yuan feel his guess was likely correct. My name is Xie Heir. What is your name? She asked curiously. Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan briefly stated his name. Then, they walked to the dungeon entrance. Fog Mountain. Recommended level 10. Level 20. Solo. Lu Yuan chose the multiplayer mode. Then an interface popped up. Captain. Level 12 S-Rank Talisman Master. Member. Invite. 3 available slots for invitation. Lu Yuan clicked it, and the nearby people appeared. Lu Yuan first invited Xie Heir. Captain. Level 12 S-Rank Talisman Master. Member. Xie Heir. Level 10 SS-Rank Plant Doctor. Upon seeing Lu Yuan's class, Xie Heir's expression shifted, but in the end, she didn't change her mind. Anyway, after entering, if he performs poorly, she can recover the losses she suffered. She then pulled Wang Hu and the other person in. Member. Wang Hu. Level 20 A-Rank Great Swordsman. Member. Level 20 A-Rank Dual Guns. The moment they were pulled in, they saw that something was off with Lu Yuan. However, before they could say anything, Lu Yuan had already confirmed the dungeon entry. In the blink of an eye, the 4 of them arrived at the foot of Fog Mountain. Within this Fog Mountain, jackals roam the land, and the final boss is a fierce tiger. The 4 of them arrived at the foot of Fog Mountain. Within this Fog Mountain, jackals roam the land, and the final boss is a fierce tiger. However, the tiger patrolling this Fog Mountain is not that easy to encounter. Every group that enters this dungeon will be assigned to the foot of a mountain. The range of activity is limited to that mountain. If the tiger is on this mountain, can be hunted. If not, you can only kill the jackals in the mountains, and then leave. All around were peaks standing in the sea of fog. The stretching peaks looked like a painting. Looking at these stretching peaks, Lu Yuan couldn't help but think, there must be many 4-person teams entering the Fog Mountain dungeon simultaneously. Each group has a 90% chance of encountering the boss. That means there is more than one boss in here. While Lu Yuan was thinking about this, Wang Hu was the first to strike. Lu Yuan, right? You've got a lot of nerve. I thought you had some powerful class, but you're just a talisman master. My apologies for overestimating you. I wonder how you plan to prove yourself. Xie Heir remained silent. She just looked at Lu Yuan. Her gaze seemed to say, aren't you going to explain yourself? You'll find out once we're up the mountain. Lu Yuan couldn't be bothered to explain further to Wang Hu and the others. He headed straight up the mountain. With the time spent explaining, he could have hunted plenty of monsters. Seeing Lu Yuan walking ahead with such confidence, a thought couldn't help but cross Xie Heir's mind. Could he actually be that powerful? Miss, let's head up too. Zhang Yu reminded Xie Heir. The 3 of them quickly followed. After walking a dozen meters into the mountain, Lu Yuan spotted 2 black wolves heading their way. These black wolves were shrouded in a mist like black blood. They looked ominous, and they were level 16. Just the monsters at the foot of the mountain were already level 16. This satisfied Lu Yuan. He didn't waste any time. With a wave of his hand, 2 explosion talismans flew toward the black wolves. Boom! With 2 loud blasts, the 2 black wolves collapsed instantly. Slain level 16 black wolf. Boom! With 2 loud blasts, the 2 black wolves collapsed instantly. Slain level 16 black wolf. Gained 30 EXP. Slain level 16 black wolf. Gained 30 EXP. If he were alone, the 2 wolves would be 120 points. This was why Lu Yuan disliked partying up. Even as the leader, he only got half the experience. Just as Heir and the others caught up, they saw Lu Yuan insta-kill 2 black wolves with a flick of his wrist. They then received their own experience notifications. Each of the 3 received 10 points. No, experience was no longer their main concern. Even Wang, who, before using the equipment provided by the Xie family, wouldn't dare claim he could insta-kill those level 16 black wolves. Heir asked without hesitation, "What kind of talisman did you just use? Don't talisman masters need to draw the talisman and chant an incantation? I prepared these in advance." Lu Yuan said, "Prepared in advance? Won't they expire? From what I know, talismans prepared in advance by talisman masters expire within a few hours." Wang, who said skeptically, "I wonder how many talisman masters you've actually met for you to claim you know how it works?" Lu Yuan countered. Wang, who was momentarily speechless, because he truly had never met a single talisman master. His so-called knowledge naturally came from others and from the internet. To save him from further embarrassment, Zhang Yu stepped in to defuse the situation. "Lu Yuan, we didn't mean to doubt you. It's just that you said you'd take the miss to a 2-person dungeon to hunt monsters. I want to know, how many of those talismans do you have in stock?" Zhang Yu managed to ask what he wanted to know, while shifting the topic, preventing Wang Hu from being further embarrassed. "Enough to blow away several mist mountains. I wonder if that's enough?" Lu Yuan countered. That's enough. However, we'll have to see if your talismans can actually kill the boss." Zhang Yu said, "Of course, I told you I would prove it to you. This is part of what I intend to prove." Lu Yuan could understand this. After all, if he couldn't easily kill the boss, Lu Yuan could understand this. After all, if he couldn't easily kill the boss, Wang Hu and Zhang Yu letting Heir enter a 2-person dungeon with him, wouldn't that be pushing her into a pit of fire? Very well. The equipment dropped from the monsters this time will also belong to you, Zhang Yu said. To test Lu Yuan, they wanted him to handle it alone. Naturally, they couldn't split the loot from his kills. Lu Yuan nodded. Then he continued up the mountain. Lord of Mist Mountain. Wang Hu and Zhang Yu never expected that they would become carried bystanders. All 3 of them just needed to follow Lu Yuan. Monsters all along the way, whether they were jackals, or wolves, under Lu Yuan's explosion talismans, they were all turned to ash. It started with level 16, then came level 17, and level 18 monsters. As he fought his way halfway up the mountain, suddenly, a tiger's roar echoed, a roar that shook the forest, followed by a sudden gale. The wind knocked down numerous trees. In an instant, a fierce tiger blocked Lu Yuan and his group. This tiger was more than twice the size of a normal one. The aura of the king of beasts was truly suffocating. It stared at the 4 of them, as if looking at a delivery of fresh food. "Go!" Lu Yuan pointed his finger forward. Talismans flew toward the tiger, facing a level 20 boss. Lu Yuan remained cautious. In an instant, thousands of explosion talismans flew out, and then, as he whispered a single word, boom, followed by a massive explosion, the tiger boss was instantly blown to pieces. Screams erupted, endless wailing. Enraged, it charged toward Lu Yuan. But Lu Yuan could see it was completely exhausted. There was no need to stop it. It charged with a roar, only to collapse 2 meters away from him. The notification of a successful kill followed. Successfully killed the Lord of Fog Mountain. Gained 1000 EXP. Congratulations, you have reached level 13. 1000 EXP received. Congratulations, you have reached level 13. 1000 EXP received. Combined with previous accumulations, Lu Yuan finally reached level 13. He silently checked his status panel. Level age level 2. EX grade Talisman Master grade, level 9, level 13 level 2, EXP level 29, 210 level 33, 3000 level 27, level HP level 29, HP level 30, 2600 level 33, 2600 level 28, 160 level 32, defense level 31, 160 level 29, agility level 38, agility 160, magic.
Mana.
1300, talismans.
Explosion talisman.
Looking at this panel, Lu Yuan gained a rough idea of his growth rates. Currently, for every level up, HP plus 200, strength, defense, agility plus 20, magic plus 50.
Mana, 100.
When he reaches level 20 to 30, how much will increase per level? He began to look forward to it. An EX grade class, in terms of growth alone, is enough to create a massive gap with ordinary classes. He then checked the gear dropped by the Lord of Fog Mountain. Only 2 items, and they were just high-grade equipment. Level 20 high-grade gear. Lu Yuan didn't even bother looking. He'd just sell them to the Tianxing Merchant Guild. When he turned around, he saw Xie and the others looking shocked. Minutes had passed since Lu Yuan killed the boss, yet they still hadn't recovered, mainly because what they saw today was a massive shock to their worldview. Since the global awakening of classes began, nearly 300 years have passed. The notion that talisman masters are useless had basically taken root in everyone's hearts. But today they saw Lu Yuan tear that notion apart. How could the shock in their hearts settle so easily? Finally, Wang Hu was the first to mutter, "Brother Lu Yuan, are you really a talisman master? Why? Do you think the party information can be faked?" Lu Yuan asked back. Wang Hu shook his head vigorously like a rattle. Then he bowed to Lu Yuan and apologized sincerely. "Brother Lu Yuan, I was blind to your true greatness. I hope Brother Lu Yuan won't take offense. Don't worry, I'm not that petty. Now that the boss is dealt with, the few remaining stray mobs in the mountain will likely hide. Let's just ignore them. Let's leave the dungeon." Lu Yuan suggested. "Thanks, Brother Lu Yuan." Wang Hu quickly cupped his fists in gratitude. Zhang Yu then asked thoughtfully, "Mr. Lu Yuan, the talismans you just used, do you have enough left to clear the Mist Mountain dungeon again?" Zhang Yu needed to confirm this to ensure the young lady's safety alone with Lu Yuan. "Of course it's enough. Without complete preparation, do you think I'd gamble with my own life?" Lu Yuan countered. "Then I'll leave the young lady's safety in your hands, Mr. Lu Yuan," Zhang Yu said. The 4 descended the mountain, reaching the foot of the mountain. After exiting the dungeon, Lu Yuan finally entered a duo dungeon alone with Xie. Lu Yuan had just reached level 13, and Xie had reached level 11. Now that they were a party of 2, the leader gets 60% experience, and the member gets 40%. After entering the dungeon, Xie, who had been quiet, spoke first. She asked Lu Yuan, "Those talismans you used weren't stored in advance, were they? What makes you think that?" Lu Yuan asked with interest. Wang Hu and the others might be inexperienced, but the talismans you used, I've seen them before. Those were explosive talismans, right? If these talismans are stored, they only last for 6 hours. After 6 hours, even without an incantation, they will explode automatically. Xie said seriously. "You certainly know a lot, Mississippi. But what makes you think I'm like that other talisman master?" Lu Yuan countered. "You are indeed different from him. Your explosive talismans are more powerful, and the speed at which you create them is incredibly fast. It seems you don't need any prior preparation, no need to draw the talisman, and no need for incantations. Your explosive talismans are more powerful, and the speed at which you create them is incredibly fast. It seems you don't need any prior preparation, no need to draw the talisman, and no need for incantations. Perhaps this is how a talisman master should actually be. That other master's performance really wasn't worthy of S-Rank. However, if it's like you, then S-Rank would be an understatement," Xie said. "You're quite perceptive, but there's no need for you to know this. You should be glad that I'm not a bad person. Otherwise, speaking to me alone like this could cost you your life. Understand?" Lu Yuan looked at her, smiling faintly. "Then I'll thank you in advance for sparing my life. I won't pry into your affairs either. Let's head up the mountain. I just wanted to confirm if my suspicions were correct," Xie said with a beaming smile, showing absolutely no fear. Of course she wasn't afraid. Although her class was a healer, essentially a nurse, how could the Xie family let their eldest daughter take such risks? She had several life-saving pieces of equipment on her. She was confident that, if danger truly arose, she could protect herself. "Stay close," Lu Yuan reminded her, then began walking up the mountain. This young lady had been silent before. Lu Yuan thought she was just shy. Now it seemed she had been deducing all of this. This woman is far too clever. This woman is far too shrewd. Lu Yuan didn't want to stay alone with her for too long. It would be better to clear this place as quickly as possible. On the way up the mountain, jackals appeared continuously. Lu Yuan killed them with ease. Meanwhile, Xie followed behind, cheering him on. Xie had suddenly become much more lively. Lu Yuan didn't know if he was the lucky one, or if Xie was. When they reached halfway up the mountain, there was the same commotion again. A blood-scented wind howls. The Mountain Lord of Fog Mountain appears. Gazing at the colossal Mountain Lord, Lu Yuan stepped forward and hurled an explosive talisman. The talisman detonated. The Mountain Lord collapsed. The auction begins. Successfully slain level 20 Mountain Lord. Gained 1,200 EXP. After gaining this 1,200 EXP, Lu Yuan was now just one step step away from leveling up. Successfully slain level 20 Mountain Lord. Gained 1200 EXP. After gaining this 1200 EXP, Lu Yuan was now just one step away from leveling up. His current experience reached 2750. 3000. Checking the loot. Luck was on his side this time. One piece of high-grade equipment. One piece of top-tier equipment. Unfortunately, the top-tier item was a spear, polearm, meant for cavalry, useless to Lu Yuan. Let's get out of here, Lu Yuan said to Heir. Let's exchange contact info. If there are two-person dungeons in the future, we can team up. Heir replied. Team up for two-person dungeons? I'm down. But I have one condition. Keep my secret. There are quite a few two-person dungeons. If Lu Yuan wants to enter them, he'll definitely need a partner. Finding someone else would mean explaining everything all over again. Given the circumstances, why not just stick with Heir? No problem. Heir agreed instantly with a smile. She knew Lu Yuan's secret, that he could seemingly produce explosive talismans in bulk. A secret like that, if leaked, it would certainly bring trouble to Lu Yuan. However, it wouldn't bring her any benefit either. Doing something that harms others without gaining anything was something she naturally wouldn't do. After they exchanged contact info, they finally stepped out of the dungeon. As they successfully emerged, Wang Hu and Zhang Yu quickly approached. Brother Lu, did you encounter the boss? Wang Hu asked curiously. Thanks to your lady's good luck. We did, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Thanks for taking the lady through the dungeon, Brother Lu. Wang Hu said, I'm heading back to a solo dungeon. After Lu Yuan bid them farewell, he headed toward the dungeon. Shortly after Lu Yuan left, a middle-aged man arrived nearby. Seeing him approach, Wang Hu and the others hurriedly bowed. Mr. Zheng, I've just looked into Lu Yuan's background. He's a student at Juqing No. 1 High School, a kid from the slums, awakened as an S-Rank Talisman Master. His girlfriend awakened as an SS-Rank Ice Mage. On the day of awakening, she dumped him and left him for Long Haochen. His girlfriend awakened as an SS-Rank Ice Mage. On the day of awakening, for the sake of money, she dumped him and left him for Long Haochen. Mr. Zheng stepped forward and explained Lu Yuan's situation to Heir. While Lu Yuan and Heir were in the dungeon, such a thing happened? It seems his ex-girlfriend had terrible taste. Heir said disdainfully. As for women who abandon others like that, as a woman herself, she found it absolutely despicable, truly pathetic. Additionally, Lu Yuan seems to have visited our Tianxing Chamber of Commerce to sell gear. Specifically, those 3 epic-grade items currently being promoted. I suspect he has a master guiding him, Mr. Zheng added. A master guiding him? Could it be that some talisman master found a way to overcome the plight of talisman masters? Heir visperet. Lu Yuan entered Fog Mountain alone, fighting his way up the mountain, killing all the way to the summit. But he never encountered the boss. In the end, he had to leave Fog Mountain. By the time he emerged, it was already late, so he had to head home. He could only reach level 14 today. After a night's rest, Lu Yuan continued grinding in other dungeons the next day. After clearing 2 dungeons, Lu Yuan finally reached level 15. Congratulations on gaining 5 levels. Obtained a new talisman, Heavenly Thunder Talisman. Summons several bolts of heavenly thunder to attack enemies. Against evil entities and demons, it has a special suppressing effect. Power is doubled. To think it's another offensive type talisman, and one that's specifically effective against evil entities and demons. Among these monsters, those that can be classified as evil or demonic are far from few. Lu Yuan was overjoyed. Having another trump card is naturally excellent. If he encounters enemies in the future that explosion talismans can't handle, then he can use the 5 Thunder Talisman. Lu Yuan spent the whole day grinding dungeons. Since there were no bosses, he couldn't level up further in the end. The next day, Lu Yuan continued by clearing some single-player dungeons. In the blink of an eye, the day of the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce auction arrived. The auction time, Lu Yuan continued by clearing some single-player dungeons. In the blink of an eye, the day of the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce auction arrived. The auction time was 8 p.m. Lu Yuan headed there right on time today. He also changed into a new set of clothes today. Although these 3 days weren't like when he killed the poisonous python and dropped epic-grade equipment, but some high-grade, top-tier gear earned Lu Yuan tens of thousands. With money in hand, it was only natural to improve his circumstances. Through 3 days of leveling, Lu Yuan successfully reached level 17. Lu Yuan arrived outside the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce auction house and found that the crowd attending today's auction was exceptionally large. Along the way, Lu Yuan heard many discussions about who would buy those few pieces of epic equipment. Seeing such high hype, Lu Yuan was naturally thrilled. The more people competed for them, the better it was for him. Soon, Lu Yuan reached the main entrance. However, just as he arrived, Lu Yuan spotted two eyesores. These two were none other than Long Haochen and Lu Shuangshuang. Lu Yuan immediately saw their levels. Long Haochen level 10, Lu Shuangshuang level 10. This was definitely considered fast. At this rate, they truly wouldn't be able to reach level 30 within a month. After all, the further you go, the slower the leveling becomes. These two were just about to enter, but Lu Shuangshuang spotted Lu Yuan. She lightly nudged Long Haochen. Long Haochen immediately turned his head, looking toward Lu Yuan. A brilliant smile quickly appeared on his face. He took the initiative to walk toward Lu Yuan. To an outsider, it would seem like they were lifelong best friends. Lu Yuan, did you get the wrong place? What are you doing here? You wouldn't actually want to enter the auction to buy something, would you? His mocking tone made him sound unbearably smug. What, is young Master Long moonlighting as the security guard here, so everyone passing by needs to be questioned? Lu Yuan smiled. Lu Yuan, Haochen is doing this for your own good. To enter the auction, you need to show 1 million in cash as proof. To enter the auction, you need to show 1 million in cash as proof. If you get stopped at the door later, it'll be quite embarrassing. Lu Shuangshuang walked over, kindly, reminding him. However, her kindness was spoken so loudly that everyone around them heard it. Seeing some juicy drama, people all looked over. Many recognized Long Haochen, and combined with their conversation, they quickly guessed who Lu Yuan was. Everyone watched curiously to see how Lu Yuan would respond. If I really do embarrass myself, isn't that exactly what you want to see? Lu Shuangshuang, leave while you still can. But if you're thinking of playing dirty, don't blame me for ignoring Uncle Lu's sake. Lu Yuan warned. Lu Shuangshuang immediately put on a aggrieved expression. Long Haochen immediately pulled her into a gentle embrace, saying, don't stoop to his level. I'll have someone kick him out right now. He then turned to look at the guards over there and said, come over here for a moment. This guy is just a poor brat trying to sneak into the auction house. Kick him out. Humiliating Lu Shuangshuang. Hearing this, the guards walked over. As the young master of the Long family, the guards were well aware of who Long Haochen was. To save the Long family's face, they were bound to comply. Once the guards arrived, they said to Lu Yuan, sir, do you wish to enter the auction? Yeah, Lu Yuan nodded. Sir, it's like this. To enter the auction, proof of assets is indeed required. The guard said solemnly. After all, letting people who can't afford it in, just to bid recklessly, would throw the whole auction into chaos. I wonder if this can serve as proof? Lu Yuan took a VIP card from his pocket and handed it to the guard. The moment the guard saw the VIP card, he shuddered in shock. Working here, they had naturally seen other VIP cards. Lu Yuan's card was definitely authentic. There was no possibility of it being a fake. Moreover, in Juqing, who would dare forge a card from the Skyward Chamber of Commerce? The guard quickly bowed and apologized. Sir, I was rude just now. The guard bowed deeply in apology. Sir, I was rude just now. I hope you can forgive me. It's fine. You were just doing your job. I understand. As Lu Yuan spoke, he turned toward Long Haochen and the others and said, however, some people here aren't working, so I wonder why they're in such a rush. You actually believe him? He's just a brat from the slums. How could he possibly have a Skyward Chamber of Commerce VIP card? Long Haochen refused to believe it and tried to get the guards to block Lu Yuan. Seeing the situation, Lu Shuangshuang grew anxious too. She assured the guards, he used to be my neighbor, and he really did grow up in the slums. There's no way he has a Skyward Chamber of Commerce VIP card. If you ask me, even if it is real, he must have just found it. The name on it probably isn't even his. Why don't you verify it? Seeing her frantic state, Lu Yuan almost wanted to laugh. However, just as he was about to say something, someone walked over and sneered, Miss, who do you think you are, trying to give orders at the Skyward Chamber of Commerce? Whether to check or not, can't the Skyward Chamber of Commerce decide for itself? A familiar voice. Lu Yuan looked over, and sure enough, it was her. However, she was wearing a dress today, with white stockings, looking even more talismaning and cute than before. The newcomer was none other than Heir. Behind her, followed a bodyguard in a suit. This bodyguard clearly had the strength of a class changer. His face was cold. Lu Shuangshuang immediately realized that this person belonged to the Skyward Chamber of Commerce, and was not someone she could afford to offend. She hurriedly explained, I didn't mean it that way. I was just... Before she could finish, Heir continued, you're just a gold digger who dumped him because you thought he couldn't support your growth. That's why you broke up with him. Ridiculous. And you still claim to be his childhood sweetheart. But how much do you actually know about him? After speaking, Heir walked to Lu Yuan's side and said, if you mind, I can have them banned from entering. Gasp. As soon as she said this, the onlookers couldn't help but gasp in shock. Those who came here, the onlookers couldn't help but gasp in shock. Those who came here mostly knew who heir was, the precious pearl of the Skyward Chamber of Commerce. She said she'd kick them out, and she actually has the power to do it. Of course, what puzzled everyone was why she was helping Lu Yuan. Did she take a liking to him? Or perhaps, Lu Yuan actually possesses some hidden talent. Long Haochen's face turned livid. He had pursued Lu Shuangshuang back in school, but back then, she was Lu Yuan's girlfriend. Now, seeing that Lu Yuan's potential had vanished, she showed her true colors, and she left him for Long Haochen. He thought he could use this to flaunt his victory over Lu Yuan. But now, heir seems to know him, and she's even defending him in public. Their relationship seems quite deep. One must realize, someone like heir was someone Long Haochen wouldn't even dare to dream of. At this moment, Long Haochen felt his ego shatter into pieces. He looked toward Lu Yuan with a hint of nervousness. If Lu Yuan actually let heir kick them out, then he didn't dare imagine the consequences. All he knew was that once he returned home today, he was in for a severe lesson. As for the choice heir gave him, forget it. They're here to bring business to the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce. There's no need for me to be petty. The Long family is incredibly wealthy, and among the 3 items he put up for auction, one is a perfect match for Lu Shuangshuang. Lu Yuan knew that Long Haochen would stop at nothing to get it. This would be a massive windfall. Only a fool would let this opportunity slip. Since Mr. Lu is being so magnanimous, let's leave it at that. Mr. Lu, shall we go in together? heir's invitation to Lu Yuan sparked even more strange speculations among the crowd. Many had even begun to envy him. Then let's go. Since heir had helped him so much, refusing her now would be incredibly rude. He entered the auction hall with heir. Lu Yuan was struck by the sheer opulence of the place. Once inside, Lu Yuan thanked her. Miss Xie, thank you. Although he could have handled the situation, even without her help, he could have dealt with it himself. But he had to admit, seeing the look on Lu Shuangshuang's and Long Haochen's faces when she appeared, felt incredibly satisfying. We're teammates. Do you really need to thank me?
Heir asked.
Lu Yuan gave a relaxed smile. He said, I'll head to my private booth first. I assume you have things to attend to as well. She nodded. She did indeed have other matters to handle. After heir departed, Lu Yuan headed straight for his VIP booth. Arriving at the booth, he swiped his VIP card and stepped inside. Very quickly, a waiter approached him. Their service was so impeccable that Lu Yuan couldn't help but be impressed. No wonder the Tianxing Chamber of Commerce grew so large. With service like this, anyone would be captivated. However, Lu Yuan was only here as an observer. He had little interest in the equipment being auctioned. He simply wasn't interested. First, he was short on cash. Second, equipment for Talisman Masters was rare, and if there were any that others could craft, he could craft it himself. There was no need to waste money on it. While Lu Yuan waited in his booth, in a nearby private booth,
Heir arrived.
She walked in with a smile.
Sister Su,
You actually came. Is it for that sword? Inside the booth, an elegant young woman was sitting. She sat perfectly upright, exuding an air of strength and grace. Her rank was far higher than heir's. Her stunning face carried a hint of coldness. However, the moment she saw heir, it was as if the first snow had melted, revealing a smile as warm as a spring breeze. She said,
Fire.
Why are you here? I figured you'd be here, Sister Su, so I came to visit. By the way, what level have you reached now?
Fire asked curiously.
Level 16. The girl replied, admiring Sister Su, you can level up on your own. That's why you level up so fast. heir said with a hint of envy. As a support class, unless she changes jobs later to gain active attack skills. Otherwise, she'll always need a team to level up. That sucker, Long Haochen, with your profession, unless she changes jobs later to gain active attack skills. Otherwise, she'll always need a team to level up. That sucker, Long Haochen, with your profession. Plenty of people will beg to team up with you in the future. When facing high-risk dungeons later on, I'll have to beg you to team up with me too. Please don't reject me. The girl surnamed Qin said half-jokingly. heir's divine doctor class cannot show its true power yet, but the higher the level, the more its strengths will emerge. It's no exaggeration to say, although she's only SS rank, the value of this class is no less than any SSS rank. Whenever Sister Su wants to team up, I'm available, as long as my level can keep up. heir said cutely. The auction seems to be starting. Heir, how many people do you think will fight for that sword today? The girl surnamed Su asked. I believe that once Sister Su speaks up, no one will dare to compete with you. The way you put it makes me sound like some kind of bully. How could I? I'm only telling the truth. If Sister Su wants that sword, countless young masters in this city would be rushing to grant your wish. Not everyone is like that spoiled brat from the Long family. The girl surnamed Su just shook her head. The girl surnamed Qin just shook her head. She knew very well how powerful that sword was. Many people will definitely join the fight for it today. Lu Yuan waited for about 20 minutes. The auction began. The items being auctioned first were all top-grade equipment. Of course, the top-grade gear put up for auction auction were all of relatively high levels, beyond the first advancement. For example, level 50 top-grade gear. Its value is quite high, of course. It's certainly far inferior to Lu Yuan's few pieces of equipment. The previous bidding, Lu Yuan didn't bother to care about, until the host mentioned the Flood Dragon Staff. Lu Yuan finally paid attention. Next, the item to be auctioned is a piece of epic equipment. The Flood Dragon Staff. You've all likely understood its value over the past 3 days. There's no need for me to detail its functions. I believe it will be extremely useful for any mage. The starting bid for this piece of equipment is 1 million. There's no need for me to detail its functions. I believe it will be extremely useful for any mage. The starting bid for this piece of equipment is 1 million. Each bid increase must be at least 10,000. The auction begins now. As soon as the host finished speaking, people quickly raised their paddles to bid. I bid 1.3 million. I bid 2 million. The voice bidding 2 million to Lu Yuan was quite familiar. He looked through the private booth window and found it was indeed Long Haochen. Once Long Haochen spoke, immediately no one dared to compete with him, mainly because 2 million is indeed a high price. To bid any higher, many felt it was no longer worth it. And then there's the fact that this man is Long Haochen. The Long family might not be the strongest in the city, but Long Haochen is among the powerful, the one who loves to be the most petty. Therefore, no one wanted to offend him. After Lu Shuangshuang saw Long Haochen's bid, and that no one dared to follow, she immediately leaned against Long Haochen and said flirtatiously, "Brother Haochen, you're so handsome." During these few days following Long Haochen, she had already tasted the sweetness of money, but at this moment, she was conquered by his extravagance, and Long Haochen thoroughly enjoyed this feeling. He said with great pride, "As long as you're with me, I naturally won't let you down. In this city, whatever you want, my Long family can get it for you. You're so bad." Lu Shuangshuang wasn't angry. She just blushed and gave a coquettish cry. Lu Yuan saw that no one was bidding. He sneered inwardly. Then he silently raised his paddle and said, "I bid 2.1 million. Lu Yuan's bid took everyone by surprise. They wondered who was being so bold. When they looked toward Lu Yuan and saw he was in a VIP booth, they figured a big shot had entered the fray. The moment Long Haochen heard Lu Yuan, his blood began to boil. Just as Lu Yuan had recognized his voice, how could he not recognize Lu Yuan's? Without a second thought, just as Lu Yuan had recognized his voice, how could he not recognize Lu Yuan's? Without a second thought, he shouted his bid. "I bid 2.5 million. If it had been anyone else, he might have only raised it by 100,000. But this was Lu Yuan. In front of Lu Yuan, he couldn't afford to lose face. "I bid 2.6 million. Lu Yuan calmly raised it by another 100,000. 3 million. Lu Yuan, do you dare to follow? After placing his bid, Long Haochen roared toward Lu Yuan. "Young Master Long is indeed wealthy. I admit defeat. I'll leave the staff to you, young Master Long," Lu Yuan said with a smile. He certainly wouldn't bid any further. Raising it from 2 million to 3 million was enough. If he kept pushing, and Long Haochen suddenly stopped, he'd be the one stuck with the bill. Selling this staff for 3 million was already a massive overpayment. Its actual value, at the very most, would not exceed 2.5 million. No matter how powerful its stats were, it was still just first-turn equipment. For those who are powerful, first turn is only the beginning. For those who aren't, buying this gear wouldn't even yield much effect. Lu Yuan, you played me. Even someone as foolish as Long Haochen realized it now. Lu Yuan had intentionally driven up the price. Why would Lu Yuan buy this equipment? He had just been blinded by rage. Lu Yuan is a rune master. Why on earth would he buy a staff? To give it as a gift? Given Lu Yuan's financial situation, spending over 2 million on a gift. Unfortunately, by the time he realized it, it was too late. What do you mean, played me? Does young Master Long not allow others to bid? I really do like that staff, but since young Master Long wants it so badly, and has bid 3 million, if I don't step aside now, it would be quite disrespectful. Lu Yuan's words seemed reasonable on the surface. However, anyone could hear the mockery in his tone. Very well. Long Haochen glared at Lu Yuan, grinding his teeth. If looks could kill, Lu Yuan would have died 1,000 times over. At that moment, the auctioneer announced loudly, 3 million once, 3 million twice, 3 million 3 times. Sold. The transaction was finalized. 3 million twice, 3 million 3 times. Sold. The transaction was finalized. Those who had wanted the staff but couldn't afford it felt a wave of satisfaction. If Long Haochen had taken it for 2 million, they would have been quite annoyed, because if they could, they would have gladly paid 2 million for the Flood Dragon staff. But seeing him spend 3 million, everyone felt much better. Inside the booth of the girl surnamed Su, she asked curiously, "Who is this Lu Yuan? How does he have a VIP card from your Skywalk Chamber of Commerce? I've never heard of such a person before." "He is the seller of those 3 epic items," Xi Heir replied. "The seller? As the seller, he actually participated in the bidding. Or is it that his grudge against Long Haochen is that deep? The girl asked. Their grudge is indeed very deep. Because, Heir then detailed everything she knew. After listening to her, the girl with the surname Su said, Heir, you seem quite interested in him.
Doi,
Not really.
Heir shook her head.
Denying it firmly. Obvious. It's practically written all over your face. The girl teased. It's actually nothing. He just helped me clear a dungeon once. And that's how we met. Heir said. He carried you through a dungeon? Isn't he a talisman master?
Yeah.
But he had stored a lot of talismans in advance. He just blasted his way through with them. It was quite easy. Let's stop talking about this. The Flood Dragon sword is about to be auctioned. Don't let it make you miss it. After Heir brushed it off, she immediately changed the subject. She promised to keep Lu Yuan's secret. Naturally, she couldn't reveal his specifics, but she knew her best friend was very perceptive. If they kept discussing it, she would definitely find something out. Just then, as expected, the host on stage began the auction for the second piece of equipment. Next is the second piece of epic grade equipment, the Flood Dragon sword. I don't need to say much about this sword, although it has no active skill. However, its stat bonuses are very high. For sword-using classes, it's absolutely the best choice before the first advancement. For sword-using classes, it's absolutely the best choice before the first advancement. Starting price is still 1 million. Each bid increment must not be less than 10,000. As the auction began, Lu Yuan just watched, bidding on these items. He is the seller. The seller participating in the bidding is a bit too much. If Long Haochen and the others hadn't insisted on provoking him, he wouldn't have bid against him for the Flood Dragon staff. The final price of the Flood Dragon sword was 1.9 million. Lu Yuan only knew it was bought by someone in a VIP box. The last piece is the Flood Dragon armor. The Flood Dragon armor also has a starting price of 1 million, but the final price of this armor was much higher than the sword, 2.4 million. If Lu Yuan hadn't driven up the price, this would have been the highest price. Lu Yuan could feel what kind of equipment people wanted. Those that increase survival chances are the most sought after. After all, when entering dungeons to fight monsters, if you die, then it's a real death. This isn't a game where you can be resurrected after dying. After the auction of these three pieces of equipment ended, Lu Yuan thought it was over. Who would have thought? The host spoke again. Next is today's final grand finale item, a skill book, an S-Rank Ice Mage skill. Starting price is 5 million. Each bid increment must not be less than 10,000. The auction begins now. A skill book. I almost forgot about the most valuable item. Lu Yuan murmured. The drop rate of skill books is much lower than equipment, let alone an S-rank skill. An S-rank skill, with a starting price of 5 million, is definitely not expensive, because an S-rank skill can potentially change someone's destiny. Class advancement tasks that were originally impossible, after obtaining an S-rank skill, might actually be completed soon. A frantic bidding war broke out. In just a short while, the price soared to 7 million. For the first time, Lu Yuan felt how many wealthy people there are in Zhucheng, although he knew before that Zhucheng is a metropolis of nearly 10 million people, and there must be many billionaires in the city, but he had never felt it personally until now. Today he finally saw it. In the end, the skill book was bought by Long Haochen for 13.2 million. This money certainly wasn't his own. The Long family must have decided to secure it. After all, no matter how you put it, Lu Shuangshuang is an SS-Rank Ice Mage. To get this skill book for Lu Shuangshuang and bind Lu Shuangshuang tightly to the Long family, in the future, she will surely be a powerful asset to the Longs. This multimillion investment is well worth it. Once the auction ended, Lu Yuan quietly headed backstage. 3 pieces of equipment, totaling 7.3 million. The Tianxing Chamber of Commerce took 5% as a service fee, so Lu Yuan received 6.935 million in the end. In this world, such a massive income doesn't require taxes to the Federation. This made Lu Yuan an overnight millionaire. Thinking about the skill book auction today, a single S-rank skill book is worth over 10 million. Suddenly, he felt he wasn't that rich after all. Sigh. Humans really do become greedier and greedier. I'll consider buying a house in the city tomorrow. Lu Yuan muttered to himself. He couldn't help but reflect. In this life, struggling to afford a house is much easier than in his previous life. Lu Yuan left the auction, taking a taxi back to the slums. This would be the last time he rested here. At the same time, at the Long residence, when Long Haochen and Lu Shuangshuang returned, Long Haochen's father, Long Zhang, was already waiting. One look at his father's solemn face, and Long Haochen knew he was screwed. He said cautiously, "About today's events, I messed up." Lu Shuangshuang added, "It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, Brother Haochen wouldn't have." First, Lu Shuangshuang wasn't used to this address, but thinking of the money the Long family could provide, it became much easier to say, "Forget about this matter. I've already sent people to look into that brat. What you need to do now is to get your marriage certificate tomorrow. The wedding can be held whenever you want, but the marriage certificate must be obtained tomorrow." Long Zhang said sternly. Yes. Long Haochen didn't dare argue, quickly agreeing. As long as he wasn't punished, for him, It was a huge relief. Lu Shuangshuang also agreed. She knew she couldn't refuse, because without the marriage certificate, she would never get that skill book bought today. Although she was still resentful about what happened with Lu Yuan, she felt the S-Rank skill book was more important. She was a noble SS-Rank Ice Mage. What was Lu Yuan compared to her? Just a pathetic Talisman Master. Although she didn't understand why Lu Yuan was involved with the eldest miss of the Xie family, she believed that without ability, living off one's looks was unrealistic, even for her. If she were merely beautiful, without this SS-Rank profession, Long Haochen would likely play with her for a while, and then toss her aside. But she was an SS-Rank professional. She had the chance to become the matriarch of the Long family. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but fantasize about the future. As for Lu Yuan, perhaps many years from now, when they meet again, the gap between them will be as vast as heaven and earth. No, it won't even take years. Once the student council starts, he will realize the gap between us. Lu Shuangshuang thought to herself. Today, Lu Yuan actually had a hidden level, but Lu Shuangshuang and Long Haochen were only level 10. Naturally, they couldn't see Lu Yuan's level, and so they naturally assumed he was a waste who hadn't leveled up. Lu Yuan slept soundly that night. At dawn the next day, Lu Yuan went straight to the city to buy a house. Lu Yuan didn't have any other grand ideas. Just a decent place to live would do. In the end, he bought a place in a community called Prosperous Home in the east. Spending 71.5 million, Lu Yuan didn't have any other grand ideas. Just a decent place to live would do. In the end, he bought a place in a community called Prosperous Home in the east. Spending 1.5 million, he bought a fully furnished one, the kind you can move into immediately. The reason he chose this is because Lu Su doesn't see this as his final home. This is just a starting point. Naturally, there's not much to be particular about. He needs to handle these things quickly, so he can continue to grow stronger. In this world, power is the only absolute. Dungeon clear records, moving into a new home, buying various daily necessities. And just like that, a whole day was spent. The next day, Lu Yuan headed out to grind again. He still chose a single-player dungeon first. By the time the grinding session ended, he had reached level 718. On the way home, on the bus, Lu Yuan suddenly received a message from Heir. You've probably cleared most of your single-player dungeons, right? Let's clear some duo dungeons tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow at 10 a.m., see you at Dungeon Area 2. After Lu Yuan agreed, they quickly finalized the time. See you tomorrow. Once he returned home, Lu Yuan spent some time checking Area 2 and the duo teaming situation there. Although he had learned about these dungeons in school, checking them now could help patch up any weaknesses. Moreover, there might be some recent changes. He didn't think much of it until he looked, and then Lu Yuan actually spotted something new. In Dungeon Area 2, there was originally a duo demon hunting dungeon. Inside was a twin monster, a level 20 giant wolf. Previously, people could just team up and enter to hunt it, but now one must first undergo a trial to enter. The trial's content was simple. Combat. Monsters would appear continuously, wave after wave. Only after slaying 9 waves of monsters could one face the twin demon wolves. After this mutation, no one had cleared this duo dungeon. No, to be precise, until yesterday, no one had cleared it. This dungeon has been cleared. Clear time, 32 minutes and 43 seconds. A dungeon that records clear times. Dungeons like this grant a massive amount of experience. I didn't expect such a dungeon to appear below level 20. Lu Yuan was deeply impressed, because from what he knew, these types of dungeons were only available at level 20 and above. Now one has appeared below level 20. Perhaps the world has been further eroded. He wasn't certain, but for now, for him, it's a good thing. As for the person who cleared it yesterday, I wonder who they are. I'll check it out tomorrow. Lu Yuan was curious about the person who cleared it. The next day, Dungeon Area 2. When Lu Yuan arrived, he found Heir already waiting. Today, Wang Hu wasn't with her, nor were Zhang Yu and the others. However, Lu Yuan could sense that not far away, there was a gaze watching them. That must be her hidden bodyguard. Lu Yuan stepped forward and asked, Miss Xie, I hope I didn't keep you waiting?
Heir shook her head
and said, I've been here for less than 2 minutes. Which dungeon should we start with? Let's start with the twin demon wolves, Lu Yuan said. He glanced at Heir's current level. In just 2 days, she had already reached level 16. Twin demon wolves? Do you perhaps want to break yesterday's clear record? Heir asked with a smile. I don't know if I can break the record, but clearing it won't be a problem. By the way, let's check the records over there. Lu Lan said, I believe you can break that record. Heir was completely confident, for she had witnessed the power of Lu Yuan's explosive talismans. So many explosive talismans, and he could launch them in an instant. In a low-level dungeon like this, Lu Yuan was a total powerhouse. In her eyes, for a low-level dungeon to have monsters that could rival Lu Yuan, the monster would have to be immune to explosions. From everything she knew, Talisman Masters usually only wielded one type of spell. Outside the Twin Demon Wolf dungeon, there was no one in queue, so the two could enter with ease. Arriving at the dungeon entrance, the dungeon records were visible. There was no one in queue, so the two could enter with ease. Arriving at the dungeon entrance, the dungeon records were visible. Clearance records,
Susiyue, Sushuang.
32 minutes 43 seconds. Current rank 1.
Susiyue, Sushuang.
Seeing these two names, Lu Yuan couldn't help but frown slightly. In this city, those surnamed Su, aren't they the city lords? Within the Federation, the city lord of any city is definitely considered a high-ranking regional authority. If these two are from the city lord's manor, then everything makes sense. Heir asked with a playful smile, "Do you want to know more about these two? I have the inside scoop. That won't be necessary. Let's just enter the dungeon." Lu Yuan shook his head. People from the city lord's manor, whether he knew them or didn't, what did it matter? It had nothing to do with him anyway. After the two teamed up and entered the dungeon, Lu Yuan discovered that they had appeared in a circular arena. On both sides were rings of circular stone steps. Around the perimeter, several stone pillars stood tall. Upon those stone steps, there were engravings of all sorts of beasts. It looked exactly like a coliseum. Lu Yuan looked around and noticed some spectators sitting on the steps. It was a perfectly standard coliseum. Just then, a black mist emerged from the surroundings. A horde of monsters charged out of the mist. These monsters were all level 15, 5 in total. They looked like some kind of mutant crocodiles. With a powerful lash of their tails, they lunged straight at Lu Yuan and his companion. Lu Yuan didn't hesitate for a second. Explosive talismans flew from his hand with a whoosh. 5 monsters, 5 talismans. After a series of deafening booms, the 5 monsters were obliterated. Immediately following, as the monsters perished, the experience gain notification sounded. Successfully killed level 15 mutant giant crocodile. Gained 30 experience points. After these 5 monsters vanished, 6 more monsters emerged from the black mist. 6 jackals, but half of their bodies were already rotting, looking absolutely ghastly. These 6 jackals were level 16. Once the 6 corrupted jackals appeared, they lunged forward to tear into Lu Yuan and the other. These 6 jackals were level 16. Once the 6 corrupted jackals appeared, they lunged forward to tear into Lu Yuan and the other. Lu Yuan still used 1 talisman per monster. After easily dealing with them, the experience gain notification sounded again. Successfully killed level 16 corrupted jackal. Gained 36 experience points. Then, the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, although the number of monsters increased, and their levels rose, in the face of Lu Yuan's explosive talismans, they were still dealt with effortlessly. A few minutes later, the final wave arrived. The 9th wave of monsters appeared, 10 demon wolves. Every single one was level 19. Moreover, the moment they appeared, they displayed incredible speed. Scattering around, they surrounded Lu Yuan and his companion, watching them with vigilance, as if searching for an opening to attack. They were actually quite clever. However, in the face of absolute power, none of this matters for you, Lu Yuan said, pointing his finger. Swoosh, swoosh. Talismans flew out like command tokens. With incredible speed, they reached the magic wolves in an instant, accompanied by a roar. The wolves' flesh flew everywhere. 10 magic wolves fell one after another. Just then, a wolf's howl suddenly echoed from the monsters around them. The next moment, Lu Yuan and the others heard rapid footsteps approaching. It was the sound of a wolf. Judging by the sound, it was certain that the wolf sprinting toward them was incredibly fast and massive in size. Lu Yuan quickly summoned 2 haste talismans and slapped them onto Heir's feet, saying, "This talisman will increase your speed. If the boss attacks you later, do your best to dodge." Title: Advanced Professional. The moment Lu Yuan's talisman hit Heir's leg, she immediately felt the effect of the buff the talisman provided. Speed increased by 500%. A very brief message, but a brutally powerful boost. It almost caused Heir's mind to crash. Aren't talisman masters only supposed to have 1 spell upon awakening? Why does he have another kind of talisman? Heir was utterly shocked. Aren't talisman masters only supposed to have 1 spell upon awakening? Why does he have another kind of talisman? Heir was utterly shocked. She had noticed Lu Yuan's talismans had no wind-up, nor did they require incantations. She thought that was already abnormal enough. Little did she know that she would see something even more heaven-defying. She was now certain that Lu Yuan and those other talisman masters were truly different. This was an entirely new class. She even began to wonder if what she saw during party formation, S-Rank Talisman Master, was even true. Lu Yuan appeared as an S-Rank Talisman Master in the party menu. The reason was simple. The system had masked his EX rank. Therefore, except for himself, no one could tell he was EX rank. While she was in shock, the black mist dissipated. A magic wolf appeared in the clearing. pale blue flames burned across its body. A giant wolf 2 meters tall, with 2 heads. Flames blazed atop the magic wolf's heads, as if it had emerged from the depths of hellfire. It threw its heads back and howled, and unleashed a blast of fire toward Lu Yuan and the others. Lu Yuan and the others scrambled away. Both moved like the wind, dodging the attack in an instant. Lu Yuan then, with lightning speed, unleashed hundreds of explosion talismans. Boom! Along with the thunderous roar, sparks flew everywhere. Lu Yuan saw that the twin-headed magic wolf was blasted into 2 separate wolves. The 2 wolves howled, attacking from the left and right. Lu Yuan continued to launch explosion talismans. The explosions knocked them back. They tumbled across the ground, and then they climbed back up, completely unscathed. Awoo! The 2 let out a howl. In that moment, phantoms of wolf cubs lunged toward Lu Yuan and the others. Oh no! They're immune to the explosion talismans. Xie hurriedly warned him. She had previously thought that as long as Lu Yuan didn't encounter something immune to explosions, he would be invincible. She didn't expect they'd encounter such a thing so soon. As she spoke, the wolf cubs had already charged at them. Though they were only phantoms, they could still scratch people with their claws. A pure white halo appeared around Xie, instantly enveloping her and Lu Yuan. As the wolf cubs approached, they vanished in an instant. Let's go. We can't handle this twin-headed magic wolf. My barrier can only hold for 10 minutes. Enough for us to leave.
Xie suggested.
Shall we go? No need for that. But your talismans are useless against it, Xie said anxiously. Besides the explosive talismans, do I have no other talismans? Lu Yuan asked back.
Xie fell silent.
Then, she realized, that's right, Lu Yuan had just used a buff talisman on her. There must be other talismans, other offensive talismans. Thinking of this, she stopped panicking. Instead, she felt a sense of anticipation. She understood that she was about to witness history. At that moment, after the 2 demon wolves howled, they merged together with a roar. Looking at the demon wolf burning with demonic flames, Lu Yuan said coldly, "You're immune to explosive talismans, but I wonder, can you be immune to heavenly thunder?" As Lu Yuan spoke, several heavenly thunder talismans began floating around his fingers. The heavenly thunder talismans flew out. In the next instant, thunderclouds surged across the sky. Fierce winds raged. Lightning flashed with blinding speed. Boom! 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 Heavenly thunder descended, relentlessly striking the twin demon wolves. Bolts of lightning as thick as barrels crashed down. The twin demon wolves were blasted into ash. After the twin demon wolves died, the heavenly thunder continued to strike. Because Lu Yuan had summoned too many talismans, the storm had not yet ended. Xie watched from the side, her mouth agape, staring ahead in terror. Such divine wrath actually caused by talismans? At this moment, regarding Lu Yuan's profession, she was completely clueless. Lu Yuan had already heard the notification. Congratulations, you have successfully slain the level 20 twin demon wolves. Gained 1,800 experience points. Congratulations, you have successfully reached level 19. As he leveled up, he glanced back at Xie. She had leveled up too, reaching level 17. Let's go. Lu Yuan looked at her, still in a daze, and said with a smile, "Yeah." After Xie snapped out of it, she asked, "What kind of talisman was that?" "Heavenly Thunder Talisman." Lu Yuan didn't bother hiding the name. There was no need for that. "Heavenly Thunder Talisman. The name certainly fits," Xie said. As the 2 of them stepped out of the dungeon, they both received a notification. "Congratulations, you have successfully cleared the Twin Demon Wolves dungeon. Clearing time, 15 minutes and 57 seconds. Congratulations, you have set a new clearing record." After this notification, Lu Yuan's system, silent for days, rang out again. "Congratulations on setting a new dungeon record. Title obtained, Advanced Professional. Basic attributes increased by 10. Title." Lu Yuan was delighted. He never expected such a surprise. An increase of 10 to basic attributes. The further he goes, the stronger the boost will be. He immediately checked his current attributes. Seeing the added attributes in the brackets, Lu Yuan was quite satisfied. Although the increase isn't much now, it's still far stronger than the attribute boost from leveling up once. At that moment, Xie said to Lu Yuan with great excitement, "We actually broke the record. When we get back, I must tell Sister Su." Her excited expression made it seem like she couldn't wait to brag. Hearing this, Lu Yuan knew she had a good relationship with Susia. He wasn't surprised. It's normal for children of great families to know each other. "Yeah, we broke the record." Lu Yuan nodded, not wanting to dampen her mood. "Lu Yuan, which dungeon are we heading to next?"
Xie asked.
"Either is fine. The remaining dungeons aren't much different anyway," Lu Yuan said. "As for the remaining dungeons, the experience isn't as generous as the twin magic wolves. So, no matter which dungeon we choose, it's all the same. He found a dungeon with the shortest queue. Entering the dungeon was a breeze for leveling up. Nothing unexpected happened. The time spent grinding in the dungeon was sometimes shorter than the time spent queuing. Time ticked away. Before he knew it, he had reached the final dungeon. As Lu Yuan slew the last monster in the dungeon, he finally heard the level up notification. Successfully killed level 20 Screaming Bat. Gained 60 experience points. Congratulations, you have successfully reached level 20. Congratulations, Master, on leveling up 5 times. Obtain Talisman. Ice Feather Talisman. Wailing Abyss. Ice Feather Talisman. Can release 100 ice feathers to slay enemies. Inflicts frostbite effect. Power grows with level. Lu Yuan looked at the description of the Ice Feather Talisman. Another offensive talisman, and with a different attribute. When facing different monsters, he'd have more options. Lu Yuan then cleared out the remaining few monsters in the dungeon and left with Xie Feier. By the time they emerged, it was already dusk. Miss Xie, I'll be heading to the Wailing Abyss from now on. Once you break through level 20, perhaps we can collaborate again, Lu Yuan said. Alright, but you don't have to keep calling me Miss Xie. Just call me Feier, Xie Feier said. Sure, then, Feier, I'll be going now, Lu Yuan responded readily, changing his address immediately. Not long after Lu Yuan left,
Xie Feier's bodyguard approached.
He spoke to her respectfully. Mississippi, you've taken another step closer to your first awakening. I only hope that, after the awakening, I can cure my grandfather.
Xie Feier murmuret.
You will, the bodyguard said firmly. The next day, Lu Yuan headed straight for Dungeon Area 5. Here lay the famous Wailing Abyss. The Wailing Abyss could be said to be the best grinding spot before the first awakening. Of course, provided that your strength is sufficient. The entry requirement for this dungeon is level 20 to 30. Previously, even if Lu Yuan's strength exceeded level 20, the entry requirement for this dungeon is level 20 to 30. Previously, even if Lu Yuan's strength exceeded level 20, he still couldn't enter. Now that he has reached level 20, he could finally come here. The Wailing Abyss is teeming with monsters. Furthermore, it is a repeatable dungeon, unlike the dungeons Lu Yuan had cleared before, where once you clear it, you can never enter again. Of course, the danger level of the Wailing Abyss far exceeds any other dungeon. Every year, the number of people who perish in the Wailing Abyss is countless. Lu Yuan arrived. There was no queue at all for the Wailing Abyss. Lu Yuan arrived here and entered alone. The moment he was teleported into the dungeon, Lu Yuan found himself in a massive canyon. The canyon sloped steeply downward. Along the sides of the canyon, some eerie mud slimes were writhing. These mud slimes were all level 20. They writhed across the ground in clumps, looking like piles of excrement. A putrid stench emanated from their bodies, enough to make anyone nauseous. Don't be fooled by their slow, sluggish movements, and think they are harmless. But the moment you step near, they will spray corrosive liquid. Some mutated variants can even launch metal javelins. However, Lu Yuan's approach was simple. He chose to clear the way with explosion talismans. Along with the thunderous blasts came a constant stream of notifications. Successfully killed level 20 corrupt mud monster. Gained 100 experience points. Successfully killed level 20 corrupt mud monster. Gained 100 experience points. Though a single monster only gave 100 XP, the sheer number of mud monsters here made up for it. As Lu Yuan descended, he swept the monsters aside. After venturing about 200 meters deep, the mud monsters vanished. Ahead of him were walking skeletons. However, these skeletons were wreathed in eerie blue flames, adding a sinister touch to the atmosphere. They let out strange, guttural howls. The moment they spotted Lu Yuan, they all charged at him, as if they intended to tear him limb from limb. Skeletons. Huh? Then taste the heavenly thunder. They all charged at Lu Yuan, as if they intended to tear him limb from limb. Skeletons. Huh? Then taste the heavenly thunder. Against such foul creatures, Lu Yuan didn't hesitate for a second. He raised his hand and cast a heavenly thunder talisman. Bolts of thunder roared down. These skeletons, mid-charge, were blasted into dust by the lightning. With every strike of thunder, several experience notifications flashed. After wiping out the skeletons along the way, Lu Yuan arrived at a fork in the road. One path led left. This was a characteristic of the Wailing Abyss. The deeper one ventured, the more forks appeared. Just how many paths are in the Wailing Abyss? To this day, no one has ever counted them. For those who enter the Wailing Abyss, as long as you have the strength, you simply need to keep pushing deeper. After 2 hours, if you are still alive, the dungeon will automatically teleport you out. In those 2 hours, no one has ever reached the bottom of the Wailing Abyss. Facing an unknown place, Lu Yuan knew that overthinking was useless. He chose the path on the right and stepped straight inside. As soon as he entered, several rotting wild dogs charged at him. These rotting wild dogs were still level 20, with no change in their level. However, facing a swarm of rotting wild dogs would be a nightmare for many other classes. Fortunately, Lu Yuan had plenty of firepower. With a flick of his wrist, he threw an explosion talisman. The rotting wild dogs were blown to shreds, their flesh scattering everywhere. After traveling a bit further and slaughtering all the rotting wild dogs, Lu Yuan finally reached the second fork. At that moment, he happened to level up. He continued to level up smoothly, reaching level 21. Lu Yuan immediately checked his status panel. He wanted to see the gap between level 20 and 30. Based on the data from before level 20, he noted the changes in growth values. For every level gained, HP increased by 500, strength, defense, agility increased by 50, magic increased by 200, MP increased by 400. But now, for every level gained, the required experience increases by 10,000 points. The difficulty of leveling up is getting higher and higher. But now, for every level gained, the required experience increases by 10,000 points. The difficulty of leveling up is getting higher and higher. Lu Yuan continued to choose the right path, pushing further ahead. The monsters on the next stretch were spiders wreathed in flames. These monsters are known as self-destruct spiders. Upon spotting a human, they charge straight forward and explode instantly. Their bodies are essentially time bombs. Most importantly, if they trigger the self-destruction, they die. You survive, but you gain absolutely no experience. They must be killed by a class user to grant any experience. Such dangerous, yet low-reward monsters are something no one wants to encounter. The moment Lu Yuan saw them, he quickly summoned an ice feather talisman. These self-destruct spiders were wreathed in flames once more, then let the ice feather talisman cool them down. Talisman, activate. In a flash, ice feathers rain down one after another, paving a crystal-clear path of ice across the ground. The flames on the self-destruct spiders vanish. Their bodies are pierced through by the ice feathers, and their life force fades away. As the self-destruct spiders perish, the ice feathers embedded in the ground slowly vanish. Within the once scorching canyon, a hint of chill now lingers. After dealing with these self-destruct spiders, he continues to venture deeper. Coming upon another fork in the road, Lu Yuan once again chooses to go right. The level of the monsters ahead has shifted, rising from level 20 to level 21. Although a single level increase for these mobs only grants an extra 10 experience points, their numbers are vast. Every single point added eventually accumulates into a significant sum, let alone 10 points. At this rate, within 2 hours, it's unlikely he'll encounter any truly powerful monsters. This place is actually quite suitable for teaming up. However, it's best if both partners possess formidable strength. Only then is there a chance to venture even deeper. As Lu Yuan continues his rapid slaughter deeper inside, he reflects in his